This is crazy to me. So several of you have been with me for many years. I have an old client in Springfield, Missouri, that was one of my very first clients, and we've been building SAM and getting it to where it's at. And I really hadn't ever reached out to them. And a couple weeks ago, I said, "Hey, I won't give names right now, but I said, hey, I've got a new product. Would you guys be interested in looking at it?" And they said, "Absolutely. We're still using the old product." It's like, holy smokes. This is almost 30 years old, of software. And it was the old Market System software. For those that remember Market Systems,
yeah.
We then went to Market Advantage. They had the original Market Systems version. And then, I moved on to Revolve and others, but they were still using the original. One of the things that they use daily, and they said, we can't really move forward unless we have this, is being able, one of the things that they do is they print out a report and they keep it with them all the time. I did kind of rename it because of what it is, but it's the seller buyer report. And what this is it takes every address that is either a listing or a transaction or whatever, and just shows who is the seller and who is the buyer of each of them. Now you can specify by status, very similar to the pipeline in there. You can specify what statuses you want to show on here, either for the listing or for the transaction. But basically, you choose what they are, and then it shows a very basic report. You can then take that once you come in here. You can take that. You can click on the little printer button, and then it will print a seller buyer report printout. Okay, so as you're looking through each of the different things, you're saying who's the seller. If there are multiple sellers, like right here, you've got Franklin Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt. What is their phone number and email information, the listing information, stuff like that. This may still go through a few transitions. We're still kind of nitpicking on what information we want on here, but it's the basic information of the property and stuff. And then you scroll all the way down to the bottom. Then it also shows you some of the totals. How many listings do I have? What's the totals of the prices? What's my average price? How many of those 10 do I have that are active? And what are their prices, the contingency prices. So, some number crunching pieces there on the report and stuff is available as well. But what they do is every week they print a new list and, keep this list so that they know if they need to get to somebody or an address or whatever, they can get to them real quickly through a printout. They're big into hard copies of printouts, but certainly you can do the hard copy, but from this screen itself, and you can do it on the mobile as well. Whenever you're doing it on mobile, it kind of comes together a little bit better. It actually looks better whenever it's on a smaller screen. But as you're looking through here, so if you want to see the address, you just click on the address and it takes you to that address. You can see all the information about that transaction or property or whatever. If you want to know about, a certain person in here, so, David Crockett here, we click on David Crockett, all of his information and stuff. So you can get to the people very quickly. You can go through and get to the properties very quickly. And then down at the bottom, I do have a totals area on this as well, where if you click on this, then it'll open up a section. It's not the full page, but it'll open up a section showing you those subtotals and some of the graphs and charts on percentages and numbers and stuff. So this is now available. You guys can go in there and have access to this. It's live. I would encourage you to kind of critique it Give me your ideas. What would you like to see different? Stuff like that. Like I said, this is kind of first round. I want to make sure it's usable by everybody. One of the things that you can do whenever you're coming up with this report, if you want these in a certain order, just like in the business pipeline, you can choose which order. If I choose that I don't want anything but the actives, I can uncheck everything except for the actives, and then it will show just the actives. So it's kind of a live option here, and then I can come back in here and choose whatever other options that I want bring in here. One thing that Cody did recommend that we do, which is not in there yet, is having a way to save which layouts you want. Maybe you just want the listings layout. Maybe you just want the transactions layout. Maybe you want all your closed list, but not your actives and everything. So we'll probably have a drop down in here so that you guys can set up multiple different layout options for the report to be able to do things.